My grade 10 year 2 cyber arts adventure was thrilling and wonderful. The first thing we did in the tech portion of the class was to practice and get back in the hang of Flash, Illustrator, and Photoshop. The first thing we did was Flash. We created bouncing balls that bounced around the screen. In Illustrator, we had to come up with a word, or find a word, and choose a font for it that suited the word, and mess around with it, changing effects and then creating other effects that would make it look like the image would describe the word. Example, I used fragility, and I used a very thin font and shattered the bottom half of the word to make it look like it had fallen and shattered. In Photoshop, later that year, we started on kinetic typography. We were to choose a song and create kinetic typography for that video. I chose a song Over and Over by Hot Chip. This song because it was very repetitive, and I liked the aspect of kinetic typography with this repetitive song. I chose very few colors: green, gray, red, orange, and black. I made the kinetic typography also very repetitive, so I used the same design many times. I enjoyed doing this kinetic typography, but found it challenging and hard to do because I was not too familiar with the Flash program. At the same time, in the visual arts class, we were working on a still life, and we were instructed to create a still life on a table with a skull. That was the main focus of the still life, and we were to create an interesting composition of other things like, example, mannequin arms, stuffing, spheres, wooden spheres, and mostly anything that was white. The wooden spheres were also painted white. I enjoyed doing the still life because I love rough sketching, and in my composition I had a rough sketch because my composition was like a war zone, because I had dismembered arms, the mannequin arms, and had skulls and a sphere in one of the mannequin arms, and it resembled a grenade. So my composition resembled a war zone. The mediums we used were graphite. So we used HB, 2B, 6B pencils. Later, we had to create a lino cut, short form from Lionel. The main focus was to create a bird. So some of us chose toucans, songbirds, robins. I chose a shark bird. This shark bird is a idea of mine from my spare time. I created this stuffed animal that was half shark, half cardinal. So I had cut the head off of a cardinal and the head off of a shark, and sewed the shark's head onto the cardinal's body. It might seem sick, but it created something new, and it was original, and it looked great. So I chose this because it has close meaning to me, because when I was younger I took apart toys and dismembered them and took their heads off and sewed and glued them together to make other things and new toys that were new, and I didn't have to get new toys because I just made a new toy for myself. So I used the colors red, gray, and blue. Blue for sky, red for the cardinal, gray for the shark, and gray for the clouds. I carved the lines out, so the lines of the shark and the clouds are all white. All the lines on the piece are white. So basically, what you had to do was carve this out, had it carved, and apply paint with a roller onto the lino cut, and paste it, the paint facing the paper, onto the paper, and you'd create a print. So we did this with 3 different colors. So first I did it with the red, then with the blue, and then with the gray. So it overlapped the colors and made a nice piece. We had to do 10 copies, so it was a difficult assignment, but I had a lot of fun with it. And yeah. The last thing we did in the tech portion of the class was to create a website. This website was a portfolio of all the works we had done over this year. It could have had some of the projects from last year and some of the work that we do at home, such as my recon helmet that I had built. The website I used, the website format, was from Wix.com. I like the website a lot. It really appeals to me. It has many colors. It has orange, black, white, and I believe a olive color, which for the buttons. But it is all unified and has a really slick, pristine look that I was going for. My portfolio is pretty simple. It has mostly works from this year and the recon helmet from my spare time. Also a monkey bird that I created as a sketch for concept art for the still life that we did. So we were told to do some concept work, warm up on skull drawing. So I'd gone on the internet and found a monkey skull and took the head off of it, like erased the head off of it after drawing it, and then added a parrot's head, the skull of a parrot, and added onto it. So it looks like this skull bird monkey skeleton crazy thing that I really liked, so I submitted it to Urban Voices, and they also seemed to like it because they submitted it for this year's or possibly next year's, I'm not sure which one, magazine. So it's going to be in the magazine. So I'm pretty happy about that. So another thing we did in the visual class was Chinese brush painting. The majority of the things we were doing were plants, such as bamboo and flowers. Also, a few animals like pandas and praying mantises. So I wasn't a huge fan of the project, but I didn't mind it. The majority of the things I did was colorful bamboo. The goal was to put more paint at the bottom of the brush, and at the tip of the brush was going to be more watered down paint. So it had this 3D cylinder look to it, without having to actually paint a cylinder. It had a cool effect. I was painting the bamboo. I did this in different colors, such as greens, pinks, blues, and added flowers to it. So it had a more original look and represented me as a colorful person. These people brought in the Declaration of Human Rights, and we all had to choose an article. And off this article, we had to create a teacher design. It could be simple, could be complex. We basically were free to choose how we want to design it. I chose I think it is Article 4. I'm not sure exactly what article it is, but it's on slavery. And what I did with this design was I had one man with a leash on all fours like a dog, and another man standing above him holding the leash. So he was the slave owner, and the man on all fours was the slave. And that was the front image. So there's two images. That was the front image, and on the back I had an image of the man with the leash around his neck, retaliating and attacking back on the man, the slave owner. So that was that project. I did it on a white shirt with black outlines. I thought it looked really slick. It was a very stylized drawing sketch that I had come up with, but I liked it a lot.